Hello and welcome to the Sherri-Lee Show, Season 1, Episode 22. Today is July 29th, but if you're watching this in the future, it's whenever you're watching it. So welcome and thank you for being here. I am so excited to talk to you about this topic. This is a topic that I have spent a lot of time thinking about over the years of my business, and I have learned so much. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. I've learned so much in the exploration of this. So my question to you is, do you have a coach in your business? If you are an entrepreneur, if you are a business owner, it's interesting. When I think about a business coach, I don't really think about brick and mortar businesses having coaches as much. And yet I think they should. But I don't think traditionally brick and mortar businesses have had business coaches. Business coaching has certainly taken off and grown with the advent of the online world, with service-based businesses, with online businesses. It's definitely changed the face of business coaching. And I don't know if back 10, 15 years ago, many people had coaches in their businesses. Hi, Jessica. Good to see you. So do you have a coach for your business, whatever your business is? If you have a business of any kind, brick and mortar, service-based, e-commerce, affiliate, PLR, anything, retreat business, having a business coach can be one of the most important decisions that you make in your business if you pick the right business coach. Hi, Katie. But I'll tell you, there's so much incredible learning and value that comes from picking the wrong coach. It can be expensive, it can be painful, but when you pick the wrong coach, you sure learn a lot. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experiences with that for sure. Because as I've said so much over this past year, when I started my business, I had never owned a business. I'd never thought about being an entrepreneur. I had no idea how to run a business. I didn't know how to keep my books. I didn't know how to keep track of anything. I didn't know how to get clients. I didn't know how to make clients happy. I really didn't know much. Hi, Wendy. Good to see you. And I floundered a lot. I really did. I kind of just threw spaghetti against the wall, and I figured I got to figure out how to support my family. And when I look back now, I wonder how the heck did I keep things going? How did I manage? But about a year into my business, I knew I needed a coach. I started seeing coaches around. I started seeing masterminds and work groups, and I thought, well, this will help me. I'll get to connect with other entrepreneurs who are on a similar point in their journey as I am, maybe a little bit farther ahead than me, which I really wanted to be around people who had achieved more than me, and intuitively, I just wanted to be around people who had already achieved some of the things that I wanted to achieve, to help me grow, help me push, help me move forward. I didn't want to but I didn't want to have people in a mastermind group with me. Not a lot of people who necessarily were at my place, or, for lack of a better word, behind where I was. Because I wanted to grow, and I wanted to achieve more. I wanted to do more. So I wanted the inspiration of being around people who were doing things differently than I was and were achieving the results that I wanted. So I knew that this was something that I wanted. And I spent a weekend at a weekend retreat with a business coach. And of course, during the weekend, he had a package to sell. And he had 2 levels of package. And I chose the higher level package. It was a huge investment for me, and I actually had to dig into the money that I was using to survive while I was trying to grow my business. I'd been doing it, I guess it was January of 2012 when I made this decision. So I'd been doing this only about a year full time, and I wasn't generating enough to support my family yet. And I was living on the money that I had made from the sale of our family home, when my marriage ended. So there was a little bit of money left over from that after paying off all the debts and all the mortgages and everything, and then there was a little bit of money, and I was hoping that I was going to be able to save that money, but my business was not growing the way I wanted it to, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I was dipping into that money every month to help survive and provide. And I decided that I was going to take this, it was a mastermind group, it wasn't direct one-on-one coaching. I wasn't really looking for that one-to-one coaching. I was looking for that group environment where people really were inspiring and moving each other forward and supporting each other. So this situation looked good to me. There was going to be 6 or 7 other business owners. They were all going to be probably farther ahead than I was in the business, but I was still going to get access to this one business person who was the coach, who was going to lead and guide and support. And he was certainly making the kind of money I wanted to make and had a similar kind of business. So this seemed like the right thing to do. And so I took the money out of that savings account and I invested it into a year-long commitment, and I paid for it in full in advance. And it was probably the best thing I ever did because I learned so much and I grew so much, but it was also the biggest waste of money that I ever spent in my business. And in retrospect, I paid for a year. I don't think I finished out 6 months in that program. I don't think I went for longer than 6 months. After the second or third time of leaving in tears, sitting in my car afterwards, after having paid for a babysitter to stay with my kids, gone to this meeting and felt like the biggest pile of crap walking out of that meeting and crying in my car while they stayed and visited and chatted. And I felt ostracized. I felt put down by the coach. I felt belittled. I felt derided. I felt humiliated by him. And I think he meant to be helpful, but it wasn't inspiring to me. It was horrible. And about the third or fourth time I said, that's it. Like, I'm not going back, and I quit. And I should have asked for some money back. I should have spoken to that, but I wasn't in a place where I could. He had a lot of other triggers for me. He was very similar to my ex-husband. He was triggering me in other ways, and I dismissed how I was feeling as not important, because that's what I'd learned in my marriage, that what I felt didn't matter. Really what mattered was somebody else. Somebody else's opinion, somebody else's desires. And when it came a choice between, okay, what they're doing wasn't serving me, I didn't ever stand up and speak up for myself. I didn't say, okay, that doesn't work for me. This isn't, this is a problem. I don't appreciate that kind of a comment. I couldn't say that kind of stuff at all. I just left and cried and felt bad. And so, you could say that was just a horrible experience and it was a waste of money. And it certainly, I would say, was a waste of money. However, I never thought, a few years later, I would be coaching people in their businesses. I didn't think that that was in my future. But over the years, I have turned into a really good coach that meets my clients where they are. And I take learning from that experience every single time. So I remember one meeting specifically in this group where we were talking about, he had asked me what networking events I'd been out to in the previous, I think we met every 2 weeks. So he had asked me, what networking events I'd been out to grow my business in the 2 weeks previous to the meeting, from the last meeting. And I think I'd been to a couple, probably the Chamber of Commerce and like the Valley Women's Network or something. Remembering that I have 2 small kids at home, one that's 11, one that's 6, and I have no family support and no ex-husband to stay with the kids. So every time I leave home, I had to pay a babysitter to stay with the kids. So going to a networking event where I was now going to pay for my meal or pay for a drink or drive an hour or, and pay for babysitting was an expensive situation. Every time I went to a networking event, it cost me money. So I was selective. So I went and I said that that's how I'd gone to a couple. And he looked at me and said, when I was growing my business, when I was where I was in my business, the same way you are right now, I was going to 14 networking events a week. And so was my staff. So he had one woman who was working with him. She was also going to 14 networking events a week. Assuming you worked on Sundays, that's still 2 a week, or 2 a day, sorry. That's a hell of a lot of networking, first off. But I looked at him and I said, but I have to pay for a babysitter every single time I go out of the house. 14 networking events, I couldn't even afford the babysitter for that. And he had kids, he had family support, he had a wife who did not leave the house to work. She did work within his business, and so she stayed home with the kids. And he looked at me when I said, I have to pay a babysitter every time I go out. He looked at me and said, you are not committed to your business growth then. And then he dismissed me and moved on to somebody else in the group. And I'm pretty sure that was the meeting that I left and went, this is not happening. I am not keeping going on this. So what was the learning from that? Well, so much. I am never going to sit in judgment of my clients when they say, you know what, I didn't get to that this week. Now, I know a lot of people say that they want results and they're not doing the things to get them the results. I know that there's a disconnect then. And I've been that place. I want this result, but, oh, you mean I have to go live every week on my Facebook page to make that happen? I don't want to do that. I was at that place at one point. We'll do what we need to do when we're ready to and when we see the payoff. But until we're ready to do it, until we're doing it, how does somebody else sitting in judgment of you being where you are help you? How about somebody who says, okay, so I see that this isn't working for you right now. What can you do? How can we make this work? How can we do baby steps? If you can't do a giant leap right now, how can we do baby steps to get there? What else can we do? Somebody who partners with you and works with you to help you figure out what you can do. So I learned so much from that experience of what not to do, of what I don't want to ever have my clients feel like. I want my clients to feel uplifted and positive and encouraged and able to do the things that we've set out to do. I want it to be attainable and I want it to be realistic to their life circumstances, because your life affects your business and your business affects your life. So who here, you guys, I'm so grateful that you're here and I'm so thankful that you're taking the time to be here with me. Tell me if you have a business coach. Do you have a business coach right now? Just type yes that you have a business coach, or if you don't, tell me one thing that you love about that business coach, about what you love having a business coach in your business. While I have a quick sip of water. So after that experience, I think it was a while before I had a business coach. And what I found is a lot of times when I'm working with business coaches, it's very cookie cuttery. And it's a package, and this is the way it works. And we have, maybe you get a VIP day at the beginning or a VIP half day at the beginning, and then you get an hour session every 2 weeks or once a month, and it's a 12-month commitment, and away you go. And I've worked with coaches that way, and I find that doesn't really work as well as I would like it to for me either. And I know if I'm feeling that way, I'm not the only person feeling that way. I know that I am intuitive enough and psychic enough that I'm picking up how other people are feeling in the world as well, that model is restrictive, it's limiting. And I've worked with a coach where she sends me a form every 2 weeks before we have a call, and I look at the form and I really just don't know how to fill out the answers to the questions. And I come to the calls and I don't really know what I want to work on, or what I need to do next, because I'm looking for my coach to help guide that process, to say, here's our overall goal, and you don't have to figure that out. So that's probably my biggest complaint about the coaching industry right now. And I know that there's a difference between coaching and training. So I'm not looking for training from my coach. I'm looking for support. But if we identify the big problem together, don't then just go, okay, so what are you going to do to get there? If I knew how to do that, I wouldn't need you. So don't you want somebody that's in your corner and saying, okay, this is the big goal. Now let's work together to figure those steps out. Let's take the coach's zone of genius and your zone of genius and put them together to create a plan together. Because I've set my goals and I've been on my own trying to figure out how to get there on my own. And if I could do that by myself, that would be fine. But a coach who comes to each meeting and says, okay, what do you want to work on today? And doesn't seem to even remember our last conversation, how's their continuity? And that's what I want to see in the coaching world move, is this continuity. So let me see what you guys are saying. I'm getting great comments. So Jessica says, yes, she has a business coach and it's the best thing she ever did. It's nice to have someone else's ideas. Exactly. You want somebody who contributes, who you do have set calls with, but who you can interact with in some capacity, whether it's emails or messages, in between calls. Because what if you get stuck in between the calls and you cannot access that person and reach them? You want to be able to say, hey, what about this? Hey, I did this, and look at this. And you want somebody cheerleading you and supporting you, and hurrah, and saying, hey, okay, wait a minute, let's do this instead. Wait, take a step back. Don't do that yet. And help you stay on track, right? So Katie's working with a branding coach right now and loving it. That's very cool. Haven't worked with a business coach before. Katie, you know, if you find the right coach that works for you, and I think really I want to empower everybody today to realize that it's a matter of you selecting the right coach. And I know sometimes coaches can be really pushy and really, you know, strong in their methods to get you to sign up, and they know that they can help you. But when they show you that they can help you, then you will jump. You will have, the decision will be easier. So Wendy Bergen has a business coach. Yay, Katie, thank you. I love that, she says. That's awesome. So you want a business coach that, you know, has not only achieved what you want to achieve. So you interview them. You find out from them, what have they done? Why should you give them your money? Okay, I know there's a lot of business coaches. It's a saturated business these days, but choosing the right business coach makes all the difference. Clearly, I chose the wrong coach the first time. Then I had, you know, a couple of other business coaches that were really good, but there wasn't the ongoing support and connection that I wanted. It was that cookie cutter. We meet every 2 weeks, and every 2 weeks it's like we're starting fresh, and we aren't really, doesn't seem to be any continuity from the big goal every week, every time we talk. You know what I mean? There's just not a consistent moving through the steps. It was like, okay, here we are for an hour. What are we going to talk about? Okay, see you in 2 weeks. Here we are for an hour. What are we going to talk about? It didn't feel like there was a continuous progression, okay? Then I had a business coach who was a Facebook marketer. Now, talk about a perfect alignment. I knew him. I'd been in his community. I knew he was achieving what I wanted to achieve. He was putting together group programs and selling them and filling them, and he had processes in place, and I wanted that teaching. So he was a huge investment, an even bigger investment, and I invested in him. And it was incredibly helpful for my business. I learned an awful lot of things from him in that business, and I learned, you know, a lot of what I didn't want to do and a lot of what I did want to do. He works, again, very differently than I do, and I got to see, you know, okay, wait a minute, I don't want to do exactly what he's doing. I don't want to work 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's not why I have this business. I have this business to have a life. I don't have a life to have my business. So make sure you have a philosophical match when you pick your coach of what you want to achieve. Make sure your coach has done what you want to do. Make sure that they are 6 months ahead of you on their journey, at least, than you are right now. Make sure they've grown the audience you want to do. Make sure that they are creating the income that they say they can help you create. There's a lot of claims out there that are being made these days. There's no harm in saying to a business coach, okay, so how much are you making? If you're telling me you're going to help me get to a 6-figure business, please make sure they're making 6 figures and that they've done it with more than one person. That's your right as the consumer, as the purchaser, as the person who is going to be entrusting your business growth to them. Wendy, so Wendy's coach has a call once a week. And we can have 15 minutes to work on what we want. We also get to listen to other problems in other businesses on the call. The calls are 90 minutes. I learn so much. Someone else's ideas teach me so much. That's right. I love that component. Like, I love coaching programs that have the private one-on-one piece and a group piece where you can connect with other entrepreneurs. Katie, I've checked out business coaches before, but just didn't like their approach. I'm liking what you're saying. Well, thank you, Wendy. Or Katie, sorry, thank you. So my coaching is always a coaching that's intended to meet you where you're at. And a lot of people think I just do Facebook, but I had a client last year who hired me to do Facebook ads for them, and they've said, it's here as a review on my page, that I turned into their best business coach that ever had, because sure, I do Facebook ads, sure, I do Facebook marketing, but I've gone from that person who had a business that wasn't making enough money to even cover my bills in 2011, like didn't even cover my monthly bills, where I didn't know how to do anything, to now having a 6-figure business working towards multiple 6 figures this year. So I've learned a lot of things the hard way, by throwing spaghetti against the wall and suffering when things didn't stick, figuring it out, hiring the wrong people, hiring, going it alone, trying to figure it out myself, trying to do things through free webinars, and there's a lot of great free resources out there. But you want to really be clear on what you want to achieve and then select the person that's going to help you get to that. And you want to make sure that they can do that. There's a million choices out there. There's a lot of business coaches, a lot of life coaches, a lot of different types of coaches out there. Be really clear, find out what they've accomplished, find out what the service package includes, find out how willing they are to customize and make it for you. Not everybody learns the same way. Make sure that there's not just coaching, but a little bit of training involved, because otherwise, how are you going to know how to do the things that you will decide you need to do? You need a little bit of training, and you need really that supportive cheerleader in your corner as well. Any questions about coaching, about how to use it in your business, how it fits, how it works? Any of those things. This is something that I didn't ever think I was going to be or do in my business, and it truly has become one of the most joyful things that I do. I now have all kinds of private coaching clients that I just love working with them and seeing them take action on the steps that we lay out together, and hearing from them between calls. One of my most popular coaching packages that I have right now is a 1-year agreement where they can book unlimited. There's no limit to how many coaching sessions they can book with me. The caveat is each coaching session is 15 minutes, so it's super laser focused. As Wendy said, I have a 15 minutes to work on what we want, 15-minute laser focused to work on what we need to work on. And in most sessions, they're getting homework from me, steps of things that they need to do so that they know what to do next. And then when they're done that homework, they can book their next session. Now, I've got some people who've booked multiple in a week, some people who book weekly, some people who book once a month. It depends on where they're at and what their needs are. But in between those calls, they are not left on their own. They can email me all they want while they work on their homework, to ask questions, to get support from me, or just to celebrate an accomplishment together. because I want to hear about how they're doing and what they're achieving. And in this program, I've got a client where we mapped out a challenge that she ran in her Facebook group, and then we mapped out a paid program that she then sold. I've got clients who are just learning how to figure out how to use their Facebook page, how to engage their audience, how to grow their audience. And then I've got people who are working way deeper into getting into Facebook ads and really want some support in what kind of ad do I run? How do I set that up? How do I know if it's working or not? What results am I looking for? How do I make sure that I don't break Facebook's rules and get put in Facebook jail? So I've got people who are on all different paces in their business, different types of businesses too. Everything from real estate investing to spa and esthetician coaching, training, to, let me think, who else? Oh, I should have had the list in front of me. It's so hard to remember everybody in front of it. Everything under the sun. How do you, so Michelle's saying, how do you know how to charge per hour per month? As the coach, Michelle, this is something that's, all over the place, right? Like there's prices all over the place. And I think my favorite thing is charge what your audience will pay. So we have to know our value. Now, this coaching package I was talking about, this is my Master Facebook Now laser coaching package, I call it, where they get the unlimited 15-minute calls with me, they get homework from the calls, they get unlimited email support in between, and it's a year agreement. That one, I've been told I'm not charging enough for. But I'm charging enough that people are signing up easily and freely, and they know they're getting the value, and I'm able to serve them and give them the time that they need, and it's working. So it doesn't matter to me that somebody else has said you should be charging more for that. I get pushed all the time to charge more for my services. I raised my rates this year on all my programs, and I'm at a place where it's pushing me to be sure that I serve to that value and to make sure that people see the value. So, you look at what you're going to give to your audience, to your client. How much time are you going to spend with them? Are you going to do an hour a month? Are you going to do, 2 hours a month? Look at that. Look at what it's going to cost you in time for the deliverables. Are you going to answer email? Are you going to have unlimited chat through Voxer or Facebook Messenger or something like that? Are you going to add that in there? And then what is your time? Now you're going to average it. If you've got that really set cookie cutter program that we talked about where the client gets an hour a month and that's it, then you know what your value of your time is. Then look at what is the perceived value you give your audience. That's the thing. So what value do they see that they're getting from you? So I used to hear, it's hard to raise your rates, it's easy to lower them, but that's not true. If you have got the value, and if people are seeing the value, and if people are, if you're asking them to share the value that they are perceiving with their communities, then there's never a problem with what you're going to charge. For me, it is all about, I'm focused on helping my audience, my community, my clients. So I only worry about money when I forget to think about them. What can I do to serve them? What else can I contribute today to them? What do they need to hear from me? When I'm thinking that way, I don't stress about money because that energy attracts people to me who happily give me the money. So Michelle, I don't know if that really answers your question. I think you've got to find a rate that works for you and start there and get some clients in, and then raise your rates as your calendar gets full and as you get more and more comments and testimonials from the people you're working with. Now, this Facebook marketing mentor that I worked with for a while, he had a program, and I really loved this formula. He had a program, it was a 12-month program, and he only took 10 people into the program. I did a program like this years back too. The first, I'm going to say the first 5 people who came in to the program paid $750 a month. And that was the lowest rate of entry into the program. So they paid $750 a month. After the 5 people signed up for that, your confidence goes up and you're comfortable and you know. So then the next 3 people who came in paid $1,000 a month. And then the last 2 people paid $1,500 a month. So he had a formula where you could get 10 people into a program and create a $10,000 a month recurring income for yourself. And he stair-stepped the pricing because you could say to people, okay, well, I've only got 5 spots at this price. Brings a scarcity in and people are willing to pay it. And then you go, okay, well, I've only got 3 spots at this price. So you want to have some scarcity in there. You want to have a price point that your audience can bear and is able to pay that doesn't break their bank. And you've got to be able to show the value that they're going to receive at the end of the day. So those 3 things are the most important things to consider when it comes to your pricing. And then as your calendar fills up and you start seeing your clients getting the results that you want, then you start asking them for testimonials and positive endorsements of you. And then you can start raising your rates. When they start saying, I got this tremendous value from working with Michelle, then you can raise your rates. Okay, make sense? Yes, Michelle does real estate investing coaching, and she was doing the coaching for free, and then they were doing a real estate deal and splitting that, and that hasn't worked as well as she thought it was going to. So, I've been thinking about you a lot. Michelle is actually one of my clients, and I've been thinking about you a lot, Michelle, and thinking that perhaps something like a version of my laser coaching might be a way for you to go. So I know we have a call coming up. We may be talking about you creating your own laser coaching package. I know you could do it. I know you add the value. So having a coach in your business is important. Some people say you always need a coach. I have windows when I do not have a business coach. I have windows when I may say, okay, I'm not going to have a business coach. I'm going to take a training program and up some skills or increase my skills. Or I'm going to do a mastermind group or, a mentorship group, and I'm going to bring in a different energy. So you've got to go with the energy flow of your business. And you've got to go with what you need in the moment. And then you've got to be really committed to only getting what you want and not settling for anything else. So have a coach when it's the right thing to have a coach. Don't have a coach when it's right for your business to not have a coach. Have the right coach. If you can't find the right coach, it's better to have no coach. Get into a group coaching program. Sometimes those are really awesome to get into because you can connect with other people. It's so important that you, and I didn't do this at first. I didn't see that what I needed mattered. I thought somebody else was just going to tell me and I could work those steps and be done with it. And it didn't work because I didn't focus on what I needed. And I wasn't clear on what I needed. I wasn't clear on what I wanted to accomplish. And I wasn't selective. I thought they got to choose me. So be selective. Do your research. Find the coach that's going to work for you. And recognize that they're not going to be your coach for life. It's like peeling an onion. So as I have peeled the onion and I've gone through different learning that people have done, then I have changed the type of coach that I needed because I needed different things from different people. So it's like peeling an onion. This coach may last for 6 months. This one may work for a year. And when they don't work anymore, then you need to be able to part ways in a positive way and find somebody else. Okay? If there's no other questions, I think I have talked out what I can say about this. If the Master Facebook Now Laser Coaching Program package sounds like something you might be interested, please reach out to me. I do have 5 spots available right now in that program that I'm looking to fill. I'll put the link in the comments. If you are looking for a coach right now that you think might be able to help you with growing your business, using Facebook as a marketing tool to grow your business, please reach out to me. We can have a conversation on Messenger. You can look at the page. Let me know if this is something that's of interest to you. I have 5 spots available. I'm sure they're going to go really quickly. When I opened the doors on this in June, I quickly sold out 11 spots very quickly, and am so thrilled to work with all these amazing entrepreneurs. So thank you so much for being here. I go live every Monday at 10 a.m. on my page, and I'm grateful that you're here with me today. I'd love to see you again next week. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments right now. What do you need to know to grow your business on Facebook? What do you need to help you achieve your goals? We are at the end of July. We've got August, September, October, November, 5 months left in the year. It's going to go really quick. Do you remember how quick things go once school comes back in and we get into Halloween, Thanksgiving, Remembrance Day, Christmas, boom. So what do you need to achieve your goals in the rest of the 5 months of the year? Do you need a business coach? Do you need somebody who's going to be there to support you in short, focused increments that's going to be your biggest cheerleader? Reach out to me and let's talk about the Master Facebook Now Laser Coaching. Do you need a training program? Do you need some guidance to help you achieve your goals? What is it that you're looking for that you need? Make sure that you are almost rabid about achieving your goals and demanding that you only have the people around you that will contribute to you achieving that. All right, you guys, thanks for being here. I sure hope I get to see you again next week at 10 a.m. PST right here on my page. This will stay up, so if you have questions or comments and you're watching on replay, please use the hashtag replay and let me know what you need. Let me know if you would like to talk to me about my laser coaching program package, and I'm just here for you, and I want to see you grow. So share your successes and your growth with me as well. I'd love to celebrate with you about that. Thanks, everyone. Have an awesome day. We'll see you on Facebook.